I spend a lot of time reading the comments on this channel. I don't just post videos and walk away. I listen to you guys, and lately, the comment section hasn't just been complaints, it's been an indictment. You guys aren't just mad about the low rates anymore, you are mad about the betrayal. I'm seeing comments calling politicians economic terrorists. I'm seeing comments asking why the DMVs were handing out CDLs like candy. I'm seeing people asking about the non-domiciled loophole. And the biggest question I keep seeing is this: was this planned? People are saying it feels like a memo went out, a secret handshake between the government, the mega brokers, and the shippers that said, let's flood the market with cheap labor. Let's look the other way on regulations, and let's break the back of the American owner operators. On this video, I'm not talking about tire pressure or fuel surcharges. I'm talking about the setup. I'm going to talk about how the industry didn't just crash, it was sabotage. So let's start with the memo. Now, I don't know if there's a physical piece of paper sitting on the desk in DC somewhere, but in business, you don't always need a written memo when everyone has the same incentive. Think about it. Who benefits from freight rates dropping to $1.20 a mile? The American family man with a mortgage and a truck payment? No, he goes bankrupt. The veteran driver who has been safe for 20 years? No, he parks his truck. Who benefits? The mega shippers, the retail giants, the big brokers. And who protects them? The politicians. The theory you guys are talking about in the comments goes like this. Step 1, open the borders to create a surplus of labor. Step 2, weaken the CDL standards so that cheap labor can legally drive. Step 3, look the other way when Chameleon Carriers pop up. Step 4, let the rates crash so inflation looks lower on paper for the election year. Is it a conspiracy, or is it just the most ruthless business move in history? Let's look at the CDL schools and the DMVs. This is where the anger is really boiling over. You have guys in my comments asking, how do these guys get a license? They can't read the signs, they can't speak the language, they don't know what an air brake test is. We aren't making this up. Look at the news. We have seen busts in Florida and Texas and Mississippi, California. We have seen CDL school owners indicted for selling test scores. But for every one they catch, ask yourself, how many thousands slipped through? The comment section is right to ask, where was the oversight? The government regulates everything that we do. They regulate how many hours we can drive. They regulate the ELD. They regulate the emissions. But suddenly, when it comes to issuing licenses to thousands of new drivers with zero history in this country, the government went blind. You have to ask yourself why. Why would the DMV, an agency that usually makes your life a living hell for a parking ticket, suddenly become so relaxed about issuing a commercial driver's license to operate an 80,000-pound missile down the highway? The accusation in the comments is that the politicians had their hands in it, that the instruction came from the top down. Process them, get them on the road. We need the supply chain moving cheap. And let's talk about the non-domiciled CDL. This is the technical term that gets thrown around, but let's break down what it actually means for your wallet. A non-domiciled CDL is supposed to be temporary. It's supposed to be for drivers from Mexico or Canada who are crossing the border, delivering a load, and going back. It isn't supposed to be for living in the truck stop in Indiana for 2 years, running freight point to point within the US. But that's what happened. And why? Because the enforcement stopped. I saw a comment that broke it down perfectly. The guy said they created a disposable workforce. Think about that, a disposable workforce. If you are an American owner operator, you have rights, you have standards, you demand a fair rate because you have to pay taxes, insurance, and feed your kids in this economy. You are expensive, but a driver who is here on a temporary basis, A driver who is sending money back to a country where the dollar goes 10 times further, he could run for $1 a mile. He could run for 90 cents a mile, and he doesn't complain. He doesn't organize. He doesn't strike. It is the perfect weapon to destroy the rates, and the politicians allowed it. They watched the capacity explode. They watched the rates tank, and they did nothing. Why? Because cheap freight keeps the price of milk and flat screen TVs down. They sacrificed the trucker to save the consumer price index. Now, let's pivot to the shippers and the brokers because the politicians might have opened the gate, but the shippers are the ones feeding the beast. You guys are asking in the comments, are the shippers in on this? Let me tell you something about corporate America. They don't care about your patriotism. They care about their Q4 earnings report. If a shipper has a load of widgets going from Atlanta to Chicago and an American Joe wants $2,500 to move it, but New Guy LLC will move it for $1,200, the shipping manager doesn't ask to see the driver's birth certificate. He doesn't ask if the CDL school was legitimate. He clicks book. And the brokers are the middlemen in this heist. They see the capacity. They know exactly what is going on. When they post a load and the phone rings and the guy on the other end can barely communicate and the MC number is 3 weeks old, the broker knows. But does the broker say, I can't use you? This looks suspicious. No, the broker says, here is the rate, take it or leave it. And because the driver will take it, the broker pockets the difference. This is what people mean when they say the memo went out. It's an unspoken agreement. Don't ask, don't tell, just move the freight cheap. And then we had the Chameleon Carriers. This is the part that really grinds my gears, and I know it makes you mad too. An illegitimately run trucking company gets caught. Maybe they get a safety violation. Maybe they get shut down. So what happens? Do they go out of business? No. They close on Friday. They open on Monday with a new name, a new DOT number, a new MC number, and the same trucks, and the system lets it happen. FMCSA has all the technology. They can track my truck if I sneeze wrong, but they can't track that same VIN number and the same business address that just registered a new authority for the 5th time this year. Come on. At a certain point, incompetence looks a lot like complicity. So when the comment section calls politicians terrorists, I understand the sentiment, because what is terrorism? It's an attack on the safety and security of a people. And what has happened to the American trucker? Your financial safety has been attacked. Your physical safety on the road, sharing the lane with unskilled drivers, has been attacked. Your business security has been destroyed. You played by the rules. You went to a real school. You paid your taxes. You kept your logbook clean. You maintained your equipment. And in return, the government flooded the market with competitors who don't play by the rules and then told us to compete with them. It's like putting a heavyweight boxer in the ring, tying one hand behind his back, and then letting 3 guys with a baseball bat jump him. And then the referee, the government, says, hey, let the free market decide. It's not a free market. It's a rigged market. So where do we go from here? Because I can sit here and rant about the government all day, and trust me, it feels good to get it off your chest, but renting doesn't pay the truck note. We have to accept the reality of the board we are playing on. The memo has been sent. The plan is in motion. They want cheap freight. They want a disposable workforce. They want to push the independent owner operator out the game. So how do you fight back? You can't fight them on the spot market. If you are sitting on the low board trying to bid against these guys, you have already lost. You cannot out cheap someone who is willing to live in the truck for pennies. You fight back by leaving their battlefield. This is why I preach final mile. This is why I preach contracts. Because in the world of specialized contracts, the fake CDL doesn't work as well. The barriers to entry that I talk about, the vetting, the insurance requirements, the professional standards, those are your walls. Those are your protection. When I deal with a reputable final mile carrier or a direct shipper for a dedicated route, they aren't just looking for the cheapest body in the seat. They need reliability. They need communication. They need legal compliance because they have liability exposure. The Wild West that the politicians created, that is mostly happening OTR. That is happening on the general freight spot market. If you stay there, you are a sitting duck. You have to move your business to a higher ground. You have to find the lanes and the niches where quality still matters more than cheap. I know this video is dark. I know it's heavy, but I am not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to get better overnight. The politicians aren't coming to save you. The brokers aren't going to suddenly grow a conscience, and the shippers aren't going to volunteer to pay more money. The only person who can save your business is you. By acknowledging that the game is rigged and choosing to play a different game, that might be your only option. Don't let the anger consume you. Use the anger, let it fuel you to get off the low boards, let it fuel you to get your own direct customers, let it fuel you to pivot into a sector where your skill and your citizenship and your professionalism are actually an asset, not a liability. The memo was real. The damage is done, but we are still here. NBR transportation is still rolling, and you can still roll too, but you can't do it the old way. If you felt this message, make sure you smash that like button, share this video with another driver, share it on Facebook, on X, or with any truckers group that you're a part of. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your post notifications so you're notified when I drop a new video. Also, check out the video below where I talk about how to scale from 1 to 5 trucks. I talk about how you build a system, when's the right time to add trucks, how much cash flow you need per truck, and how to create long-term growth. Once again, this is Marcellus with Trucking with NBR. Stay dangerous, stay educated, and most importantly, protect your business. I'll see you on the next video.